they've allowed the offices with 30% of.
We are live now, friends. We are live
Okay.
now.
Okay.
And let's hold on. So a very good evening, friends.
Good evening.
Very
Good evening.
Shobhan, very good evening, Deepika. Very good evening, Swapnil and Savannah, madam. I really welcome you all for our first webinar for the Karnataka, the Punjab and the Haryana territory. So we have Shobhan here from Punjab. He's the territory head of Punjab. And we all will give our own introduction, but yes, Shobhan Soy is from Punjab territory. We have Deepika from Haryana. We have Swapnil from Bangalore, and we have Savannah from Mysore. So friends, we have 4 territory heads with you today to give you some insights about the current scenario of the learning, current scenario of the preschools during this COVID-19 periods. So we are all here after so much of learning from different platforms and our gurus, and we thought that now this is the right time then when we have some information to share with you, rather than jumping into the platform and speaking to you. And we all have really following ECA. So we all really are the part of ECA. Thank you to each one of you for following ECA and APA right now. Early Childhood Association is one of the very active association across the globe. So they have kept each and every parent, they have kept each and every educators, they have kept each and every teachers to understand the current situation. Friends, there are a lot of webinars happening by all the leaders from ECA and the APA. So we have been following this, we have been learning it, and we thought to communicate back to you. So we have Swapnil, we have Shobhan, we have Deepika and Sabana, who will be sharing on different topics today. So we are not going to discuss as a whole, but very truly to understand our topic, right? So we had challenges and we need to have some solutions. Friends, very clearly we need to understand that nobody has got solutions right now. This is whatever we are going to discuss with you. Friends, whatever we are going to discuss with you, this is as on today what we have learned and what we are trying to communicate to you. Nobody was prepared, so don't worry about it, right? We are not late, we are not early, but we are all learning at this point of time. So take this session as a learning, and if you have any queries, we will be able to take it to the last, and we will see that how we'll be able to answer your queries. So friends, we have decided among ourselves that we all 5 of us will take one subject as challenges, and then we can discuss about the solution to this, and as per our experience, what we believe into this. So I'll say, Shobhan, if I can start with you, that we'll suggest you to give a small introduction of you and what you do and how you are associated with ECA, Early Childhood Association, whatever your experiences and what are the challenges you've faced in terms of curriculum and the practices of online learning right now. So we will only discuss about the challenges, but we'll talk about the solution in the next discussion, right?
Okay.
Over to you, Shobhan.
So thank you so much, Preetham, and very good evening to all the listeners and very good evening to the co-panelists. You have already introduced me. I don't think I need to introduce myself. See, I have been into the field of education since my father has been into this, so it's a second generation into it, and we have been there for 46 years now. So we have closely seen a lot of changes happening, and we closely have been monitoring that a lot of changes need to happen. We are discussing a lot about how things need to be in the education industry in India, across the globe as well, and how things are currently. And I think I can say WhatsApp and Facebook is full of suggestions, not only these days, but it has been always. So the challenges that I see in the preschool industry specifically today is that See, India is geographically very vast and divided, and there is a lot of culture, there's a lot of different languages, but at the same time, there are very much different age criteria that are being followed all across the country. So, if Haryana is doing something, Karnataka is doing something else, and Punjab is doing something else, Delhi is doing something else. So, if I talk about the age criteria for admissions, age criteria for the things, that is very, very different. Along with that, the curriculum being followed in the preschools is also very, very different. So, see, it has to be age appropriate. So, if I have a child in the classroom who is right now maybe 2 years, and there is another child in the same classroom who is 3 years. So, how can a 3-year-old child and a 2-year-old child learn the same thing at the same time? So, our activities, our learning procedures, our processes have to be age appropriate. And the teachers need to be trained as well, because if the teacher does not know, how many teachers do we find today? If I talk about a state like Punjab, I think all the viewers from Punjab would agree that we really do not have good like early childhood teachers training centers in Punjab. If I have to talk about Ludhiana, as I belong to Ludhiana, there's not even a single early childhood teachers training program available in Ludhiana. So where do we find trained teachers? How would they know what is required for a 2-year-old child in my classroom? So as educators, as teachers, as companies, we need to focus on how we need to bring in that kind of education to the teachers so that that child can be catered in the classroom. This is, I think, a very big challenge that we face today. So that same challenge will automatically be creeped in when we come to the online learning. So if I talk about not only the curriculum, the technology is also facing a lot of challenge, since our teachers are not trained to use the technology like that. We are doing Zoom classes, but how effectively the Zoom classes are being fulfilling the need of the child's learning is an important question, and every teacher, I think, knows the answer. So the child is too small to attend a Zoom class. He is not even bothered, and he cannot even sit for more than 5 minutes in front of a screen comfortably. So if we are expecting that child to learn in a Zoom class, will not work. And are we training the parents also in such a short span without a notice? That did we start training the parents that now that you have to take care of the child? We see a lot of parents have been delegating. So I'm not saying it's wrong, but it's the need that a lot of working mothers who are contributing to the economy of the nation, they have to work, and then they have to delegate that parenting to someone. Maybe the grandparents are there, or some helper or a maid or a caretaker is there, or the child is kept in a daycare. So in all that case, now that the child is being taken care of by the family, wherein family there are father also and mother is also there, and grandparents are also there in some cases. Are we all taking the responsibility of teaching the child, and how is the teacher able to handle that situation? Okay, more curriculum, how is it going to be delivered in the home? And what I see as a challenge, big challenge, is that the curriculum being followed right now also is that they are teaching the same curriculum which they were teaching in the classes. So they are learning numbers, they are learning alphabets, they are learning shapes, they are doing the same literacy that they were doing in the schools, which is not possible at home. First of all, the child is not trained to sit with the mother at the age of 2 years or 3 years and learn from the mother. So they have to, like, these are all the challenges. They have to adapt to the new curriculum, they have to adapt to the new technology. The teachers have to adapt to being comfortable in front of the camera, wherein maybe hundreds of people are watching them. So they have to be comfortable being video shooted in a video conference. So, and not everyone is comfortable. Even I was not comfortable before all these webinars and sessions. I would never come to in front of a video or a webinar like that. I may be comfortable on a stage, but I was not comfortable in the front of a camera because I don't know who is listening and how they are judging me. So, the same ways, the teacher does not have a professional background at home. There are children around. So all these challenges, I feel, is there on online learning and the curriculum. And solutions, definitely we will talk about in the little space. But these challenges today we are facing, and this is going to be, as they say, the new normal. I don't know how easily this generation of teachers will be digitally embracing this situation. and the standalone preschools and these schools being run by preschool chains are totally different. So how they would be adapting to this easily, because the preschool chains have a prescribed curriculum and there are some experts who are designing the curriculum and they can easily send it to the branches and the branches are being trained into how to do that. But there are lakhs of standalone preschools across the country who do not know what to do.
Very
And
true, very true,
yeah.
very true, Shobhan. And these are the really the challenges which we are able to see. So, as per you, what you are trying to say is India as a country, vast country in terms of area, in terms of geography, in terms of we all were not ready about the situation that we need to go from the physical classroom to the virtual classrooms, and
Yes.
the child is too young, and each and every child needs a different set of curriculum to understand, right? So if it's a 2 years old child or a 4-year-old child, so these are the some challenges we will definitely discuss in more detail. And let's now go back to Swapnil. Swapnil, let's understand the challenges as Shobhan tried to understand the curriculum part of it with the different areas and different age groups. What you think in terms of a child who is really at home right now, and what are the challenges the child is really facing it? Swapnil, over to you. You can unmute yourself. Speaker, you can.
Yeah. It's just not, I will not start with the child, I'll start with the parent, because now the child is at home.
Swapnil, sorry to interrupt. I want you to give your introduction, Swapnil, about
Okay.
how you are associated with ECA and what is how you are working on what field. So, Soban, we missed it, but it was written on your background. But we want Swapnil to just introduce to our audience once.
Yeah, so I have a franchisee of Pudar Jumbo Kits, and I run this franchisee in Whitefield area in Bangalore. It's a IT hub, and I have been in this education field since last 7 years. With ECA, I have been associated since last 7 years, and I have been taking care of this responsibility of territory head for the Karnataka since last June. So this is my introduction to this context. Now coming back to your question, where how do I see the challenges in terms of the child? I would like to say that nobody was prepared for this pandemic. Nobody was prepared for this crisis. So this crisis is actually a combination of health, hygiene, demand, supply, disruption at the same time. And we all have been seeing it. I mean, we all are seeing it for a once in a lifetime event. It's a once in a lifetime, and nobody wants to see it again. Not in our life as well, and not in our children's life. So everything has been taken away in terms of the social environment for friends, teacher, from the child, and the same things have been taken away from the parents also. Parents are getting adjusted to this. It's because we have been in this situation since last 2 months, and so the child has also been in this situation since last 2 months. The challenges which the child might be facing now and is facing, because I also have 2 children at home, and I see them, they really want to go out and play. The physical involvement of the children or physical activity has been actually hampered with the social environment. So though we keep talking about the social distancing, but it's not the social distancing which they are missing. Physical activities they are missing in this environment now, with their friends, with the school and so on and so forth. What other challenge which I see that we are not able, as a parent, we are not able to see any solution to this. Nobody has a solution now to this situation, and that is why there is a lot of anxiety and a lot of stress. And when the children are seeing the stress on the parents' face, they get more, they become more stressed, and they are more into this type of situation. The biggest challenge which I feel now, because we do not see any solution right now, the world is not able to see the solution right now. So the biggest challenge is, how to keep the life going in this scenario. where the virus is around. And that is the biggest challenge. And again, when we talk about the school in this context, then what to do, what should be our standard operating procedures to get the life going without risking any life. So this is the biggest challenge which we see. Children are at home, and now all of a sudden, we are putting a lot of responsibilities on the parents, and parents are not able to do it as normally teachers do, because teachers are expert in this field. So children are not getting a kind of inputs which is required in terms of schooling, though there's a virtual schooling and so on and so forth. So keeping them engaged and is a biggest challenge in a positive way. How to keep them engaged positively is a challenge. Again, when we say that where the child, how much you will allow a child. There are a lot of parents are not very comfortable giving the screen time. A lot of parents are not having another system which can given to a child. So we must see that child is not getting traumatized, because parents are going a lot of stress. So if you ask me, the child is now most though the parents are also facing the same situation, but the children are in most vulnerable situation this time.
Very true, very true. Swapnil, very, very well said that the child is, he really wants to go out and play. That is one of the biggest challenge where we have. Engaging them virtually, again, the child is too young to understand whether he needs a parental support. So let's understand later that how to cope up with these solutions and how we have really started working on it. And this is almost like a hit and trial trial error method, that which one will work, how long it will work, where the child is learning, how the child is learning, how long the child is going to come online, and what the parents are facing it. So we have a lot of questions. So every day there is a new solution to this right now. So let's go back to let's come to Deepika. Deepika, and we will try to understand her perspective in terms of teachers, right? So Deepika, I welcome you again to this. So you are from Haryana. So we required your introduction before you start on teachers as a understanding.
So I'll keep the introduction very brief. Hello, everyone. My name is Deepika Ahluwalia. I have an experience for about 9 years now in the field of pre-primary and early childhood education. I am the Haryana Territory Head. I've recently become the Haryana Territory Head of Early Childhood Association of India. It's been, as soon as I have joined ECA, it has inspired me so much. I am so inspired by the buzz and the true enthusiasm all the members of the ECA have towards the organization and its goals. Right? My stay has given me a lot of insights about early childhood, its significance, its impact on the children, its impact on all the stakeholders, their development and growth. Also, it has given me an opportunity to meet a variety of people. I mean, all thanks to Preetham, because he was the one who made me join this organization. And I've met a variety of people who belong to different organizations, different institutions, different schools, places, languages, from all sorts of backgrounds. So, and surprisingly, they are so motivated. They are so motivated towards a common goal, which is like working towards the development, create holistic programs for the better environment, positive environment of the children and their safety. So all thanks to ECA first. So now coming back to the current situation, which is COVID-19, it's a lockdown. It is called crisis because nobody was prepared for it. That is why a situation is called crisis, right? Since we had no preparations, no school had any preparation, no parent were prepared for it. So everything now it's a hit and trial, as truly said by Preetham. Most of the challenges has been enumerated by Mr. Shobhan already. But I believe that there is a shift in our normal routines and in our normal lives, which has compelled us to move towards a more sustainable and ecological sound future, and which should be underpinned by compassion and cooperation, right? I think it's been 50 days of lockdown. Most of us are facing the challenges, and now we are already aware of the kind of challenges that we are already facing. I won't waste time listing again and again all the challenges as my fellow panelists have done. From the teachers, I'll directly come to from the teacher's point of view. From the teacher's point of view, there are numerous challenges. One, a teacher is also a mother, a wife. She has to do all many other roles in the life. So one phase is that she has to do it, that also being at home, and the other one is the professional professional side of it, right? So there's a big problem of adaptability. It's a very personal though. Teachers find a lot of difficulty in adapting themselves to the situation. Earlier, they were, honing their skills. They were developing themselves to the classroom setup. As it is, we had not reached the epitome of being a very great teacher. So now, altogether, the platform has changed. Now it has become a digital platform, right? So there is a problem of adaptability in terms of teachers and in terms of everybody, parents also, schools also. The second is there is a disconnect, social disconnect and emotional disconnect between the child and the teacher. No matter if the teacher is brilliant and has all the skills and equipments to, to equip herself with a digital platform, but still there is a social and emotional disconnect between the child and the teacher. The virtual platform cannot provide what a physical setup can provide. Also, it takes away the quality of improvisation from the teacher. All, as rightly said by Shobhan, all teachers, all the students all children are very different from each other. Everybody have their own individual needs when in a classroom. So there, the teacher is able to provide a customized kind of, teaching, a customized kind of environment to each child, where the digital platform takes away that. So I find this is one of the biggest challenges that the teachers these days are facing or will face. Second is the lack of sensory stimulation to the children. Even if the teacher designs a lot of things for the activities for the children, since there is a direct sensory lack of direct sensory stimulation. So I find this is also another challenge that the teachers will be facing. Another is that of quality. I am not too sure, it is just a hunch, if the teacher is able to communicate well with the child, because the teacher will be communicating to the parent, not to the child. The child is too young to understand what the teacher will be doing physically on a screen or something. So the child is not able to understand that, but the teacher is communicating with the parent. For that, the teacher has to tailor make her presentations, her speech, her communication to all the different parents. Every parent have a different level of understanding. All the parents have different kind of expectations from the teacher. Now the teacher is going to face that problem also, because now not only for the child, but for parents as well, the teacher has to tailor make the presentations, the lectures, or whatever the activities the teachers are going to prepare. Also, big problem is of accessibility also. I am not too sure, since India is diverse. I mean, we have from top to bottom, we have different tier cities, and schools operate in all the cities. We have government schools, we have private schools, we have high-end schools, we have medium schools. So I am not too sure how accessible in the times of lockdown the resources are to the teachers. The digital platform is available to the teachers, and if it is available, how well the teachers are equipped with these digital platforms and the tools. So this is a problem of accessibility that the teachers will be facing. Another will be that of sense of belongingness. It is vis-a-vis with the teacher, with the child, with the parent as well. When we are meeting somebody in person, we are catering to the body languages, to the emotions, to all those things one-on-one basis, and we are able to comprehend and respond accordingly. But on a digital platform, I think it takes away all that. The teacher wouldn't know in what mood the parent is. The teacher wouldn't know in what mood the child is. Is the child even ready for this kind of platform for the learning or not? So it takes away that from the teacher, from the parent, from the child. So this is also, I think, one of the biggest challenge that the teacher will be facing. Another is, our, we always talk about children's readiness. Are children ready to go to school? Are children ready to do writing? Are children ready to do certain XYZ things that they are according to the age or required by the societal norms? So readiness is also very important. Parents are not teachers. They don't know when the child would be ready or how to make them ready. So all those pre-activities before a child is ready to learn, the teacher does and put in a lot of efforts to make the child ready. That is also being taken away in this situation. So I think these are the
Thank you.
challenges.
Thank you, Deepika, for really, it's really says that you are following ECA. So friends, ECA is really working every day. There are 3-4 sessions, and every day we are all discussing on air so that it reaches to each and every parent, and it reaches to each and every teachers, and it reaches to each and every stakeholders in education, which is very, very important to understand the current scenario. Deepika said technological issues, teachers, what you call learning issues, teacher delivery issues, है we need to understand with the time. That's come back to Deepika, and we will all try to share our experiences in terms of solutions. Sabana, over to you, Sabana. Sabana is from Mysore territory. So Sabana, please introduce yourself, and you should have to give us a overview on a parent's perspective, right? So what challenges parents are facing, how they are supporting the institutes, how they are helping the child, right? So we'll talk about the challenges first, and then we'll go back to the solutions.
Thank you so much, Preetham sir, and thank you ECA for giving me this opportunity. It's so nice to be here as part of this panel. And first, a brief introduction about myself. My name is Shabana Nattar, and I am an early years educator over the past 10 years. I've been in this field for the past 10 years. I am currently the franchisee of Podar Jumbo Kids Center in Banimantap area in Mysore, and I'm also the Mysore territory head of Early Childhood Association. I took over as territory head in the month of Jan, so I'm one of the newer THs here. And jumping right in, since I think we are already about half an hour in, jumping right into the parent perspective and the challenges that parents face during this time. I think there are 3 types of challenges, and they have come as the lockdown has progressed. Just like we have had phases of the lockdown, we have had phases of parent anxiety. I think when the lockdown was first announced and when children were suddenly made to sit at home, I think a lot of parents found it very difficult to keep children engaged. Now they were suddenly in a situation where they were at home. They had to work from home in some cases, manage all their usual responsibilities, and now keep a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 4-year-old, or a 5-year-old engaged for 18 hours a day, about 16 hours a day. All right, and do it in a way that changes every day because children get bored of the same activities. So this, I think, was definitely a concern of parents at the beginning stages of the lockdown. They were a little very concerned about how children could be kept busy, and also about how the lack of options really for any kind of. When we first got into the lockdown, I think it took some time for everybody to understand that we have to now move online and start connecting with our children. For the first couple of days or weeks, at least in the tier 2 cities, it was a total lack of connection between the schools and the children. And parents definitely felt the brunt of that. And as the lockdown has progressed, parental concerns have increased. They have now, I think, started, I believe that to be true, that they have started experiencing a lot of behavior issues. The children have started expressing themselves in ways that parents sometimes do not know how to handle. There has been anxiety and stress. Children have been very susceptible to meltdowns and tantrums. I've had parents calling me and telling me that he was crying the whole day yesterday for no reason at all. There has been a lot of frustration that children have felt, and parents have only now begun seeing the effects of that frustration. See, for a child who is 3 years old or 4 years old, his entire routine has been disrupted. So he feels frustrated, and he doesn't really understand why you are not allowing him to go out, not allowing him to go play with friends, why none of the places that he used to go to earlier are now open to him. So no matter how much you try to explain to a child, he is ultimately a child, and he is not going to be able to understand the gravity of the situation. So parents have been facing that. They have been facing a lot of issues with behavior challenges. That is something that parents are very stressed about. I believe that to be true. And as the lockdown has progressed, and as we have now understood that we may not be having a proper school reopening, as we would not even have believed possible in the month of February, as we have gone into that stage, I think parents are also now concerned about the limitations that online learning will bring about. There are concerns about connectivity, definitely. And like Deepika mentioned, internet connectivity is not the same throughout India. There are tier 2 cities where connectivity can be very iffy. There are other issues involved, and there are issues of gadgets. You may not have enough numbers of gadgets for everybody in the house to use, especially when parents are working from home, when you need more than one gadget. There's a certain amount of learning that needs to happen on a laptop, which may not be available at the time that the school is conducting whatever session it is conducting. So yes, connectivity is an issue. And apart from that, parents have also started talking about how the kind of limitations they believe will happen with online learning. For example, socialization. I think somebody else mentioned here that socialization is social skills are going to be hampered when you have an entire session online. You are not going to get that same kind of feel that you had when you had a classroom setting. A sense of isolation. Parents talk about a child might feel isolated, having an online class, might not have that same kind of just walking over to a teacher, just walking over to his friends. That won't happen anymore. No matter how much you try to simulate an online learning environment using any kind of tool, you simply cannot simulate or replace the classroom environment. So that is definitely a concern that I have seen parents talk about. And I think apart from this, parents will also be looking at how sanitation and safety will be taken care of as we move towards maybe a staggered way of opening schools. We have no idea how that will look. We have no idea how anything will look, even maybe 2 weeks from now. So, but I think parents are also beginning to consider how schools' prioritization of these issues will impact their child. So we don't have very clear-cut solutions for any of these issues. Maybe for some of the, we can give them activities to do at home and things like that. But we can, I think, make an effort to make the process as easy as possible for parents. There is going to be a lot of hand-holding that is required by the schools, by the teachers. We are definitely going to have, we are going to see our roles as educators expanding significantly over the next couple of months. It will not just, we cannot just be educators or teachers. We will have to be counselors. We will have to be psychologists. We may have to be internet technicians, honestly, because you will be telling your parents, do this to switch on the camera. I was doing that. Turn off the, turn off the mute, and then I can hear you. You will do all these things, which honestly is pretty easy. But we will all find ourselves in a position where we are asked to take on significant number of roles, and it's a challenge. Obviously, it's a challenge. It is something that I hope and I know that all ECA members will step up to.
All right. So thank you so much, Shabana, for that perspective. Friends, it is very important to understand the challenges before we start talking to you in terms of solutions, which we are even not sure as on today. So we have given you a clear understanding or some understanding as of now. These are the challenges faced for curriculum towards the child and towards the teacher and towards the parents. So friends, now I am going to talk about my 3 words, which is very, very important. A 3-letter word, which is fee, which is really disturbing all of us. I'm talking about in terms of business. So as an ECA platform, we have to give you some inputs about it, but not as a, because ECA stands for its education message to everyone. It talks about the curriculum. We are all educators. So we are trying to keep business away out of it. But as a message from my side to you all, we are all understanding the 3-letter word and 3 words. Rent, salary, and fees is again 3 words, and it's very important is a fee, which is a 3-letter word again. So friends, fee, yes, we are going to help from ECA. We had a discussion in ECA that I'm going to give you a direct solution onto this. So it is, again, it is our own perspective to see our own centers, but still ECA is really working towards we educators and we parents, and ECA really stands with us at this moment also. And ECA is going to release a letter to the parents, so that this is regarding the fees, so that we can give some relief after getting that letter from ECA. So ECA is expecting that, we are expecting that the letter should be with us anytime before 15th of May or by 15th of May. So friends, this will help each and every of us, so that we can start getting some fees. So let's not discuss about the challenges of fees right now. I've given you a solution immediately. And if you are able to do that, that is good. The second thing is, friends, this is like a rental. Everybody, we are facing it. So I'm not going to discuss about the rental parts. I'll give you some 4-5 words so that you can take it from today as a solution. You are all a good negotiator, right? So go back, renegotiate your rent with your owners, right? You can ask for some rent holidays. You can ask for some rent deductions. And even if they are not listening to you, you can ask for some delay in payments. So friends, these 3-4 words, right, we need to understand out of it. So rental we understood, fees we understood, right? And now the salary part, friends. Do the best possible for your teachers, right? They are your support, they were your support, and they will be in your support in future. So think about all the aspect to do the best possible from your end. You are also an educator like your teacher. So friends, let's understand the solution of what we all discussed right now. So coming back to you, Swapnil, because I expect that we are all working towards the end, which is the child right now.
Yeah.
Right. So
yeah.
We said that the child is having difficulties in going out, having some physical activity, and we said that they need to be engaged. So what kind of solutions you are using right now for your own schools, right? And we are already 40 minutes from now. We have to take some questions. So it will be a very short, how physically and how the learning can be more comfortable for the child who is very young.
Okay, so what we need to understand that child, we are preschool owners, so we have a preschool children aged till 5 years old, till 5 years old. So children cannot operate any virtual device by themselves. So they need the parent support. So for what we need to understand, we have to first understand parents, the parents' psychology, parents' problems, parents' routine. And I would not like to just say parents. We have to replace this parent word with family, because we have to include all the members in the family. And we need to know their routine. We need to know their challenges. We need to know their anxiety before we understand children. And so keeping that in mind, we also started calling parents and understanding their routine and so on and so forth, so that we can give virtual schooling. And Shabana said, parents, we have to have many jobs doing. The teachers will be doing many jobs than only the educators. So now when we have given this responsibility of being educators to our parents, then we have to extend our support to make them good educators, as when they are parents. So we need to first talk to the parents and give them the solution of how they can engage children, and why they should be engaging children in this way, how this engagement is going to help child in certain times. So we need to educate parents, and to educate parents we need to first know them well. And then the solution comes. Every family or every house will not have the same solution. So we have to give multiple solutions, every family's problem in mind. When we talk about the schooling, we do a lot of activities, and every activity has a purpose of doing it. Parents are not they are not equipped with that. So we have to find simple solutions for all those activities, and we have to tell the parents to do this way. We have to be flexible in doing our virtual schooling. We cannot set the routine or the time for all the families that yes, 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock, we will have the school and so on and so forth. So making activities simple, which parents can understand, parents can do sitting at home without much effort, and still the learning happens for a child. As I mentioned that, because there is a stress all around, every family member is in stress, outside you see everybody is in stress. So, but this stress should not pass on to the child. For that, we have to make the role of educators as a parent very, very simple. And we need to really help them doing that. So we have to extend our help to the parents, so that they become better educators. We have to call them educators now. They are going to do one more responsibility than being a mom, sister, as Deepika mentioned. Everybody is doing the multiple roles. Now they are going to have another role of being an educator of their own child, and wearing that hat when they are educators. So we have to make that job very, very simple, so that the child will not get traumatized. Child will also get the right environment at home for himself. First, every family is just gonna first do the job which they are in, and then the child, or the schooling, you can say. So we have to really make it very simple for them, so that they don't find it burden on them. And as I said, nobody knows the solution to it, so we cannot decide a solution for a long term. We have to take each month, keep each month in mind and design a solution, work on it, learn from it, and again design a solution for the next month, and so on and so forth.
Right, Swapnil. So coming back to you, Shobhana, because Swapnil also gave some overview in terms of parents, right? So what kind of suggestions, or what kind of help, or what kind of cooperations you required? What kind of training you required to parents, so that they will be able to be a part of your education or your learning systems?
Yes. Parents, we need to understand now, are going through a lot of stress in terms of how unknown everything is. All right.
We need a solution, Shobhana, very short,
Yes,
because we are running. We have to take some questions
yes,
from the audience.
Yes. See, what I feel we can do as educators is to lower that stress, which is what I was coming to. Lower that stress by giving them things to do that calm them down, and not give them too many things to do that overwhelm them. There can't be too many activities that are happening. Parents are going to get a little freaked out if the school gives them things that are too overwhelming or too much of a burden. They shouldn't feel like this is what online learning is going to look like. So simple things like dance parties at home, which don't take a lot of time, which is really fun for the whole family. Things like reading. This is the great time to pick up reading. So schools need to be encouraging parents to maintain a sense of mental balance, maintain their mental health, so that they can go to virtual learning as it happens in the month of June with a very clear mind and very strongly. So when you, and they will also require a lot of support from the school in terms of personal support, in terms of phone calls, in terms of video calls, in terms of some amount of counseling, technical help to get things adjusted. These things are going to be very important from a parent's perspective. All educators need to keep that in mind.
Very, very true, Shobhana, that yes, we need to have rather than going to the child directly on day one, we should have a session. It's like an orientation to parents on the day one. Absolutely. So that we should be able to understand that what we are expecting from you, what you should expect from the teachers, what we should expect from the child, how you should be able to support the child, how you should log in, how you should do activities and hope. And yes, very true, Shobhana, that we should not give so much of activities where a parent is really now working from home, doing some home chores, doing all the home activities, taking care of the family, and then if it's a overburden from the child side or the education side, that is not going to help it. Thank you so much, Shobhana, for that insights. And we'll take some questions if we can get it for something on child and the parent side. So you need to go and answer the query. Coming back to you, Deepika. Deepika, what kind of what is called, right, the ready approaches by the teachers, right? How equipped we need to be, what kind of learning we should have it right now as a teacher to go back and do our sessions effectively?
So Peter rightly said, there are two important questions from the teacher's perspective: is how and what. What should they tell to the parents? What should they impart? And how should they do it? So I have like tools, two very old tools for the teachers. I just want to give some takeaway for the teachers also. So I would really request teachers to follow Bloom's taxonomy and theory of naturalism. They're very simple. Over the years, if we have only been focusing, if I talk about Bloom's taxonomy, over the years, we have only been focusing on the cognitive development, the cognitive domain of Bloom's taxonomy. There are two other domains also, which involves a lot of emotional development, which involves a lot of aesthetic development. So there are different other developments also which teachers can look into. Second is the natural theory of naturalism. teachers should look for the resources that are already available to the parents at the home. Teachers should design activities, engaging activities, where using all the equipments, tools, and props that are available at home. So I would really request all the teachers to go through these theories and, learn how to design activities which can be accommodated in such circumstances, right? So, and teachers should also, do away with the, you call it syllabus marathon. Children are very young. Parents are not equipped to the pedagogy. Parents doesn't have the pedagogy as a teacher would have to, make the child learn, say 1 to 10, A to Z, whatever the curriculum or syllabus is. Parents are not equipped, and we should not even expect from the parents to do the teacher's job. Right. So teachers should design activities. If I have more time, then I can enumerate the activities, how they can do it. Emphasize on the, emphasize on the life skills. In a school setup, we bring a lot of equipments, school educational toys and other this thing, so that the child can relate to the real world. Right. So when at the situation, this is reality, and the teachers should talk about how and what they can learn as of now. Just a small example of naturalism theory, if I talk about, teachers should tell the children, for example, about the COVID. How are they coping with COVID? What resources are they using during the lockdown? Which community helpers are the most handy at this time? Because these are the different topics that the teacher takes in the class. What kind of clothing are they wearing right now? So these are the different topics that a teacher can engage activities through stories, through dialogues, through engaging parents and telling them how to correlate, how to relate all the things, present things with the curriculum or the syllabus that they have to follow.
Very, very true, Deepika. So we very precisely said that we need to understand that we should give some activities which do not require a lot of material as such, and it should be at the end it should be engaging. And there is a very clear message to all the teachers that, friends, this is very normal to understand that we all were not prepared, right? We are all learning right now. So don't worry about what you know and what you know don't know right now. Learn the basics, go and do your session. Do not worry about mistakes, right? You can do some small mistakes right now, but meeting the child, going to the child every day is very, very important. On a regular interval is very important, because the child recognizes you, he wants to meet you, and he wants to meet the other friends also. So don't worry about everything. Nobody was ready. So even you do not worry about, go and do your sessions right now and start doing the thing. Is my message to you on terms of teachers is, this is the right time when we can learn new skills. We require little bit of presentation, right? This presentation, and we need to understand the voice. Wow, thank you, good one. So we need to work on we need to do that little bit of drama, little bit of sounds, little bit of more presentable on our face. We really do not need any props right now to understand the child right now. So friends,
sorry,
yes,
Preetham,
yes,
I missed on how to do it.
All right, so no issues. Deepika, you want to take some more time?
I'll just take 2 minutes time.
Please, go ahead.
So I've already spoken about what the teachers should do, and how they can do is, there are so many tools available online as of now. So I am only going to enumerate. I'm not going to discuss. Later on, you can put in the Q&A. We can answer there. So either the teacher can follow synchronous and asynchronous method, which is either they can go live or they can record a video, and or this thing they can do that way. The other the engaging methods that the teacher can actually use are, say, Padlet, GCQ, Mentimeter. Then there's Google search, YouTube videos. There are links to it. Google Hangout, Zoom. We all are very handy now with Zoom. There's also things that call Flipgrid, Quizlet, Kahoots. These are the various tools that the teacher can utilize, just to reach the parents in the most appropriate and the most desired form, so that even parents feel little relaxed, because now they're able to understand. You have elaborated well, and even it's a more comprehensible thing that the parent can actually understand. Also, I would really request to the teachers, communicate well with the parents, be simple, be highly equipped to answer the parents' queries, because even they are under the situation where they also don't understand what to do and when to do and how to do. So as being a teacher, you're not only teaching the curricula to the child, but it's also you are a linchpin between the parents and the children.
Thank you, Deepika. Deepika, whatever you were suggesting, if you can write on the chat for everybody, right? So
Right.
the theories and the tools you were talking about, so that it will help to all the audience.
Right.
And I request all the audience that if you have any queries, you can write to us on the Facebook live questions, so that we all can able to answer it with our experiences. And definitely we will try to answer all your queries if the time even not permitting us today. So we'll try to go back to the ECA website, the same video, the same live, we will try to answer all the queries. Soban, to you, very important is the classroom curriculum changed to the online curriculum, the curriculum which is we were talking about, which is what kind of activities, what kind of curriculums, what kind of academic and non-academic you prefer, and what we are able to understand from the current situation, what is required to that child and what is required, what the teacher will be able to take it to the parents.
See, very good question, Preetham. Thank you, and I would love to address that, because somewhere I feel I'm the appropriate person for that. See, at CLAY, what we have done is, according to the guidance of Early Childhood Association, there are two things that are very important. First of all, if you talk about the normal prescribed curriculum that is there for the preschools, the teachers, they really work very well on the concepts and the numbers and alphabets and shapes and such things throughout the year, along with different activities. But we need to see that not only this academic learning with the help of cognitive concepts, we need to really work on thinking skills. We need to work on problem solving skills. The best time it is for relationship learning, like life skills building. All such things can be done at home. And see, I would give an example from some of the schools that since the lockdown has been for more than a month now, and the schools have started taking tests for preschoolers. The schools have started evaluating children. How can you evaluate a 2 years or a 3 years old child? We really need to think of doing such evaluations and tests of children. Then teachers are judging the children on Zoom classes, that the child has to speak up and tell the numbers 1 to 10 and ABCD, so now all such things. So this is all is not required right now. See, whatever we do in a preschool, there's nothing such that the child will not learn throughout the life. Only that is important is that the experience that the child will have in these 5 years, that experience is going to build the character and the intelligence of the child. So the curriculum has to be focusing on his physical and motor development. The curriculum has to be focusing on the socio-emotional development. As Shabana said, that social development is very tough in these days, because the children are not able to interact much with others. But whatever we can create in the family environment, at least we should do that. Whatever possibilities we can create, so we can design the activity accordingly. And very good examples already my co-panelists have given, so I'll not go in detail of the examples, but creative expression is also one thing that we can do. Dance at home, we can do art and craft, all such activities at home with the children. The mothers can do, children can make household things like chapatis. My son helps the mother in making chapati. He loves making it and he makes it better than me, and he's just 4 years old. So these are the things which the children can learn. जो हमने नहीं शायद सीखी पूरी life में, they can easily do. This is the best time wherein we parents can involve it and involve the children into it, and where the teachers can involve the parents into it. And second most important thing that I would say is that at this time there are two teachers to the child. One is the parent, one is the teacher. There is not only one teacher. So we have to be partners. We have to really work together. And the feedback of the parent is very important. So regular feedback, monthly feedback, weekly feedback, going in communication, accepting what the parents have to say. So our channel of communication with the parent should be that way that the parent can also speak out what the parent is facing. If the only teacher is giving, they will never know what the parent is facing, and the child is being delivered with what is required to be delivered. I think I'll not take long because we have question and answer, and we just have very few minutes.
Thank you, Shobhan, and to all of our listeners, educators. I was listening to a webinar and I found a very new understanding. We all know that, but still I want to communicate. I've already written on the text format right now. Friends, we need to understand the 5 E's when we are designing the curriculum. It was given as engage, explore, explain, elaborate, and evaluate. Friends, we all do not need everything while we are doing this curriculum. So every time we do not need to evaluate, right? We can go back to the old concepts, what we have already taught, and we can review it also if possible. Friends, that is important. Now, engaging was the first step which we took towards engaging the child and the teacher in the online sessions. Then we were trying to explore what is possibilities in terms of how parents can help. As Sovan very well said, right? We are not focusing on academics right now, but yes, we can do some activities which is life skill where parents can help us to do these activities. As well said by Swapnil, that we need some physical activities at home so that it helps in terms of his fitness, right? That child wants to play inside that 4 walls. So we can do some workout, some physical activities at home so that the child is physically fit. Second thing is, as we are not emotionally attached, right? So I'll suggest that if we can give a lot of activities where we are doing it with the father, mother, or the whole family, that will keep us emotionally strong, and that will keep our bonding, and we are attached to the family with emotional which is required. So physically we are fit, emotionally we are at the parent, right? In terms of learning, we are with the teacher. So a school is really giving everything possible. Now I'm getting the first question, friends, and if we all can answer it in a very short. I'm getting a question that during summer vacation, do we still need to be with the child and the parent? Because this is where we are starting up summer vacation. Do this online session is required? My answer is yes. Sovan, what do you say, yes or no?
100% yes. See, summer camps are also going to be online. So it is not going to be a different way of learning. Learning has to be the same way. It has to be connected with the parent.
So the very good message going on to the parent is, even we are there with you during the vacations. Right. So Swapnil, what about you? Going back to parents during the summer vacation.
Yes, definitely. This time parents need support from school, and they should be supporting them continuously. So be it summer camp or be it other than summer camp, that personal emotional stress, we should be with them as a school, as a teacher, or as educators.
All right. What about you, Savannah? What you say? Do you agree? Do you agree to all of us?
Yes, and what Shobhan was saying about the chores that children can do at home, that again goes back to what I was saying about the parent perspective, making sure that they are mentally in a good place, because chores are not something that will freak a parent out. There is no right or wrong way to do it. You feel happy when a child is next to you, helping you do your kitchen work or make chapatis, like he was saying. Your parents feel happy. A happier parent is much more likely to be able to accept virtual learning very well. So that is something all of us need to keep in mind. That actually goes to that. The chores and the very easy things that you can do at home that a school can tell the parents to do, that goes a long way towards making them very accepting of online learning as it comes towards us.
Very, very true. And let's take 1 or 2 questions from the Facebook Live. We have taken 2 questions from this thing. One.
There is one question in the meanwhile I'll address. You can look out for the questions on Facebook.
Yeah.
So do you have any ideas or insights? How does one get a quick connect between a child and the teacher? There is no such solution to get a quick connect. I think it requires patience, and it takes us 1 year to develop that bond with the child and make him learn. And by the end of the year, that child, it's just like a carving that it takes time, and then the beauty comes out. So you cannot make it that quick.
So
I would like to add here, yes, there is no quick fix or quick solution, but
Swapnil, you can stop the video for a better clarity of audio.
I think there is a mic issue.
So you should be you should be giving more you know, listening to the children is most important this particular time. So that will give them the instant connect with the children. So that is what I feel.
Okay, we are getting one more question, friend. Who wants to answer this query? What should be the ideal holiday homework for nursery children when they are under lockdown? So we have some parents, those who are really interested to get some homeworks.
I can answer that.
All right,
please.
Deepika, go ahead.
So as far as homework is concerned for the children, so parents should understand what in schools basically we are trying to achieve. We are trying to achieve development, holistic development, which includes emotional, social, cognitive, physical, all these developments. So when you are asking about homework, I just want to ask a question to that parent from like just a question. Have you ever seen a person who is not able to, you know, speak well, or I mean, have you ever seen a person who's able to speak very well, is able to impress through the communication, has not succeeded in life? The answer would be no. Even if I know little, even if I know lesser in the in terms of content, but if I'm able to speak well, if I'm able to put my ideas well, then I am in the general category of, you know, called so-called intelligent people. So this is the time when you actually can engage your children into reading, because it is the best homework that you can give to your child. What reading will help you, it will help better communication skills, it will help you in language development, it will help you in the better you can you know, express your emotions well. So this is one tool. It is an underpinned tool that you can help, you know, and this will suffice all other developments easily. So this is the best homework that you can give to your child, is reading.
Thank you, Deepika. And I'm getting a question that, do we need to go live daily? Friends, this is a question from Sapna Agarwal. And I say, Sapna, that don't need to go live every time. Whenever you are comfortable, there are all recorded videos on ECA platform, ECA and APA. So definitely you can go back whenever you are free, try to listen what is happening around and what the other educators, fellow members from ECA says. And friends, very, very important, ECA has already given a this thing. If you are a part of ECA WhatsApp group, please write it on the what you call, share your numbers, share your email ID, so that we can send you more information about ECA and we can send you more updates. So ECA has already released one a nice artwork for everyone to understand what are the good guidelines or suggestion, recommendation, how you can take the online platform when you are really reaching to the child. What are points you should keep it in mind when you are developing the online session for the child? They already released one a write-up about it. The ECA is, I'm going to give you another message, that ECA is working with UNICEF and other organizations, that they are coming up very shortly the guidelines, the suggestions, the recommendations after COVID-19, right? After COVID-19, how our school should look like, what kind of precautions we should take, what kind of guidelines we should follow. So do wait for that also. So for that, friends, I will suggest you something, that each one of us from Bangalore, Mysore, Karnataka, Karnataka, Mysore, and Punjab and Haryana, we will share a small feedback from form after this discussion on even the chat group and the Facebook group, even on the WhatsApp group. So if you want to give some suggestions to ECA, you want to give a suggestion to any of us, even your voices is important to us, right? Rather than questions, we will definitely take it as a learning to us, and we'll definitely get back to you with many this thing. So last comments, we are running short of time, and we'll say that we'll wind up with some good learning experiences in short. So we'll start with everyone, that the message, you can give a message to anyone. You can give a message to parents, you can give a message to teachers, you can give a message to the child, right? So let's all go back to everyone for your message as an educator, as an owner, as a teacher. Please, Soban, can we start with you, please?
Okay. So I think a one-line message would be that we need to relax. There's no hurry into completing any curriculum. There's no hurry into being in any rat race. No comparisons to be done with other children or other preschools. This is the time you should enjoy with the child and learn at home, learn the new technology, learn the new things, and make your child do that. And bedtime stories, I have started doing it right now. I never did it with my child before. I've started reading it to my son, and it is fun. I'm telling you, read to your children. It is going to be very, very fun. And for the teachers also, I think the same message that there's nothing that we need to judge and compete. There's children are perfect, and they would learn whatever values you want them to learn. We have enough time. We have a complete year. Thank you. I'm over, Pritham.
Savannah, to you, please.
My message would be for the parents. I think it's a very simple message. I just want to tell all parents of little children that it's going to be all right. All right. It may not seem like it now, but it will be all right. At some point, the clouds will part and the sun will shine again. And if you need support, please talk to your child's school, your child's teacher. Please feel free to call them, talk to them. This is the time when we are all ready to have open lines of communication. As educators, we need to do that. And this is something that we will be doing hand in hand. We are all in this together. That is what I want to say.
Okay, Swapnil, from your side.
So my message to school for the parents and children and teacher, that school is with you, and this shall to pass. So be hopeful and be positive.
Thank you so much. This is a very, very precise thought that we are with you always. Yes, Deepika.
Well, I have 3 C's for everybody, for the teachers, for the parents. It's compassion, cooperation, and communication. And if this is achieved, I think we will get through over this difficult times. If we achieve this, nothing is impossible. It has happened once. Let's overcome it and let's face the future. So cooperation, compassion, and communication.
And friends, my message will be is let's learn together. Let's be a part of ECA. Let's be and follow what ECA is talking about. We are working, there are a lot of 43 territories right now working across India. There are almost 5 to 7 webinars happening. Let's learn from our co-followers what they are trying to, co-educators, what they are really understanding the situation. And let's learn on everyday basis right now. This is not that yearly curriculum which we have planned and we are rushing back to everything. Even curriculum planning is one, and we need to plan as a management of the school, as a promoter of a school, as an educator, as a teacher. We need that update every minute right now, right? So we do not know what next 1 month is going to be and what next 3 months is going to be. Plan well, stay safe, stay at home, and really makes all the young child and do motivate everyone if possible. And let's inspire each and every possible people in this life right now. So thank you for being a part of ECA, friends. Stay follow with us, and we are going to come back to you next week again, right, with some different panelists and some different messages to you with the updates from ECA. So thank you so much, friends, for joining. We're going to share you the feedback form, and we'll wait for your feedback. We'll wait for your learning from you all today. Thank you so much, friends. Have a good day ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Swapnil. Thank you, Sabana. Thank you, Deepika.
Thank you,
Thank you, Shobhan. Let's meet after this show right now. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much all.
Mansi, you are there with us?
Yes, I'm right here.
Thank you so much, Mansi, for being with us. And I know I had a lot of challenges. It was because of my issue. And thank you. You are the backbone of ECA right now. Yes. And you are making, we are making you work, and you are making us message to each and every educators right now.
Not at all. We are working as a team, Pritham.
Thank you so much, Mansi.
You all were great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for everything. Okay?
Thank you so much, Mansi.
Bye.
Thank you, Mansi.
Thank you to all the panelists. So great seeing you all.
Thank you.